The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Pollard streaks in. Touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, John Machota, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a Say It With Your Chest Friday here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, here from the Star in Frisco in the SWBC studios. You're not going to do it?
No, you hit a little bit of you hit a note there. You got high there.
Did I?
You said Friday.
Oh, he took it up.
Got a little, just a little octave change coming in on a Friday.
All right, Kyle.
Are you an R&B guy, or are you just a
Huge
hip-hop
R&B guy.
I was about to say.
Who's the best R&B artist of all time?
Oh, my
all
God.
time?
Of all time. Listen, you have to take out.
Sade.
You have to take out.
Sade.
Stop this.
I'm a huge Sade guy.
You got to take out the personal life.
sorry.
I was gonna say, you can't. See, people be making these decisions based upon people's bad personal decisions.
I really don't
Take
know
that out
anything
of it.
about her personal life. I really don't.
Okay, no, I'm
because
not
I
saying
wasn't
she
alive
has-
in the '90s.
Sade's your number one.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's what I grew up on. That's just
Okay,
where
okay,
that's where my heart resides.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Welcome into Talking
who's your number
Cowboys.
one? Who's your number
Yeah,
one?
but there's only one number one.
Who?
In
Whitney?
R&B. No, Whitney's not. No.
Okay, I figured you say that because you said take personal life out of it, so I was
It's
wondering.
R. Kelly.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
Oh, that's
all
why I
right.
take personal life out of it. There you go.
He's the GOAT, hands down. Not even a competition.
All right, well,
Well,
There we
let's
go. That's
keep
that.
on rolling.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys play the Patriots this week. 3:25 kickoff. They will not be debating R&B stars.
and Dak said he is pissed off.
Ooh.
He's mad.
He's
That's gonna
upset?
start off the news and notes.
Wow.
Can I start the news and notes with
Oh,
that?
of course. Yeah, let's go.
Is he furious?
You
Especially
like how
if
I spun
Dak
that
is
with R.
pissed
Kelly?
off. Yeah, let's do
that's
it.
what you
But yeah, we talked to Dak Prescott yesterday, and we said, when you have a performance like that, how are you able to rebound? How are you able to come back off of that? They're 9-1 in their last 10 games, coming off of a loss, and he said we have to feel that pissed offness. Which afterward, the writers they got together were like, how do we write that word?
Pissed
And
offness.
we had to consult with the AP style on that. But yeah, there's definitely a fire with a lot of guys on this team. You can look at Dak Prescott, you can look at J-Ron Curse. J-Ron, he took a lot of self accountability in the game on Sunday against Arizona. He said, I did not play well. I did not play up to my standard. This defense did not play up to our standard. We have to come back and bounce back from it. So I think there's a really good opportunity to do that here.
Who are they angry with?
Themselves.
Okay.
Themselves. Yep.
Are you okay with that answer?
Yeah,
Isaiah?
I was just making sure it wasn't.
Is that the
finger wasn't
only
getting
answer?
pointed somewhere else. That's all.
Where would they even point it?
I don't know.
I mean,
I was just
outside of
wondering. I mean, you
themselves.
could be angry at for a lot of reasons. I just want to make sure that they looked internally to get angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based off of the feeling in the locker room, it didn't feel like, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but it didn't feel like they were angry, but it feels like they're refocused, which I don't want to call it a wake-up call, because who needs a wake-up call 3 weeks into a season where you have as high of expectations as you have for this football team? But it feels like that, at least this early in the going, because yeah, this team does not expect that to be the case. I mean, you go back to Jerry Jones's 105.3 The Fan hit this week, and he even talked about it. He's like, we can play better. We can do better. He said he was asked if he was happy with the offensive scheme. He said, I'm not happy yet. I can be, and there's a long way to go until we get there, but I'm not happy to this point of what it's looked like up front, and there's a lot of changes to be made. And I think it whether or not it's his fault in the first place, it does start with Dak Prescott, and he's the one that sets the tone. So if he's saying he's upset, this entire locker room, this entire offense is upset at the way they played.
Yeah, and that's almost immediately what Dak had said yesterday, talking about just getting back to their own standard and getting back to what they've been able to do efficiently, whether that be getting down the field, not necessarily the red zone, but getting down the field. There's a lot of good things that they could take away from that. Just get back to what works for them, and I think eventually it'll come back around. I think we see it on Sunday. Injury news, good news and kind of not good news, I guess.
Which one do you want first, Isaiah?
Well,
The
they
good
go
news
hand
or
in
not?
hand.
Oh.
They go hand in hand. There's really no way of getting around it.
Oh, okay.
2 of the 3 offensive linemen returned to practice yesterday on a limited basis. Tyler Biotish with his hamstring injury, Zach Martin with his ankle injury. They were both back on the practice field on a limited basis. We saw both of them going through individual drills during the media portion of practice yesterday. While Tyron Smith was nowhere to be seen, he is still a did not practice listing as of yesterday on Thursday with his knee injury. But really, really, really good news. It is no injuries, no new injuries on a Thursday practice. So that's a really good start.
Isaiah, why do you look so upset? You look like you want to just jump across the table and shut Nick Harris's laptop.
I did not bring my pink drink today, Kyle, for these bubble guts that he just gave me.
But they're limited. They're back in pads.
Limited
They were there.
doesn't mean anything. Football
That's
is not
good.
limited.
Really quick, one more note. Mike McCarthy said on The Fan this morning, again, shout out to John Machota for the great tweeting. He said that Zach Martin and Tyler Biotish are, quote, definitely making a lot of progress. So
Does that ease it a little bit?
Nope.
Why?
Nope. Progress and production are two different things. So, I'm super black and white. You guys know that. But I do believe that Zach Martin probably has a high probability of making it to this game. I don't feel the same way about Tyler Biotish. Now, I don't have a clue as to the severity of his hamstring injury, so this is just simply opinion-based. But I don't have any sense of confidence or any reason to have confidence that he's going to play in this game.
Yeah.
He hasn't physically put hands on somebody in 2 weeks.
And you saw the roster moves yesterday as well.
Exactly.
Devin Harper released, creates a roster spot
Hoffman.
that presents an opportunity to elevate Brock Hoffman because they've already elevated him 3 times to the active roster. He is out of practice squad elevation, so you have to, if you're going to keep him without going on waivers, you would have to elevate him to the active roster in an active roster spot. Do you anticipate that being the case?
That's a good point. Maybe there's some different things that they
Couple
can
options.
do with that open roster spot. But as far as going into Sunday, before Sunday, that seems to be one of the only options. They have 3 guys that can play center on the practice squad: Brock Hoffman, Sean Harlow, and then Billy Price, that was brought in literally this week. Obviously, would feel the best about Hoffman just because he had a strong game in Arizona. Dak Prescott really liked the way he came in and handled that opportunity. So I would have to think that he would get that spot. But you also have 2 guys coming off of eligible to come off the IR on Monday, and Nashawn Wright and Matt Waletzko. And they're going to have to make room for both of those guys. So a little bit of moving around that they're going to have to do regardless.
If they're ready, if both Wright
they're
and
ready.
Waletzko are ready to come off of the IR. Also, I mean, with the release of Devin Harper, you have not one, but 2 linebackers on this roster. 3 if you want to count Micah Parsons, but this show knows as much as anybody that you should not count Micah Parsons in that list.
And we're not counting Marquise Bell.
No.
So 2.
Leighton Vander Esch and Damone Clark are your only 2 linebackers on the entire active roster.
Now that gives me bubble guts.
Does it really?
It does.
That doesn't give me a bubble
It gives me, it does, because one injury and you're cooked.
Yeah, I mean, but there's Malik Jefferson on practice squad. I mean, you have guys that you could elevate up, right? So
Banged up. He's been banged up. He's out at practice. He's been
got you.
practicing on the practice squad.
I like Malik. I've been liking Malik for the last few years, so I have a vote of confidence in him. Should they need to move him up, elevate him for the game, I feel fully confident that he could fulfill any role. Now, in terms of what they choose to do on game day, if there happened to be an injury on actual game day, then yes, you're used to having 3 real linebackers, and they're with Devin Harper. But now that he's vacant, now you're carrying only 2 as of today, unless they do something different on Sunday. But obviously, with Marquise Bell being able to come down into the box, you have that option. As you start talking about this style of offense, no, that doesn't make me feel too confident. That's a style of offense that you're about to face, because this is going to be bully ball.
Physical.
Yeah.
If you're looking at this depth chart, and I mean, for the most part, the initial thought is a blinking red light to go and add one of the practice squad offensive linemen or one of the guys off of IR to that active roster spot. What would you do, Nick, when you're looking at it? Would you add a Malik Jefferson, should he be game ready and ready to go? Or would you go and elevate Brock Hoffman and just go ahead and lock him at that center spot, depending on what happens up front?
Going into Sunday, I would go ahead and elevate Malik Jefferson off of the practice squad, not giving him a
Not the
53
roster spot.
Yeah,
He's
right,
the
not a
practice squad
53 spot.
elevation.
Practice squad elevation. As for that open roster spot, the thing is, if you give it to Brock Hoffman, right? and he plays on Sunday and he's on the active roster, you have 2 guys that you need to put on the roster on Monday, then that kind of forces their hand on Brock Hoffman to subject him to waivers and then try to bring him back to practice squad, which I think that could get sticky. And then he's already shown good film in 2 games by that point. So I don't know. It's difficult. They have a plan in mind, obviously, or they wouldn't have waived Devin Harper yesterday. So I assume that they have a plan going into Sunday for it. But I think that's the only option if I'm thinking in my head.
So
I can't think of any other one.
Active roster spot to Brock Hoffman and then elevate Malik Jefferson. Would you do the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And probably elevate somebody else who could help on the defense and the offensive line as well.
I was about to say probably another offensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
You would have to. They did last week. They elevated 2 guys. Plus, if you elevate an offensive lineman, you get that extra spot also that you can protect. So I think
Hoffman has to come up this game.
Just because he's the one that has had the reps?
It's a have to. Like, this is my opinion again, people. All right, but he has to elevate. Being from the quarterback perspective, you cannot be playing musical chairs at the center position. You need that chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, it's a necessity. It's like wearing jeans that are 2 inches too big around your waist without a belt. Like you can't. Like, you're gonna be sitting up there trying to. You don't feel safe. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel safe. You got to have him. You have to have him because timing is everything. Communication is everything. Cadence is everything. How high he snaps the ball, all those things matter. Angles matter. There's so much that comes into it, and when you don't have that chemistry and when you don't have that symmetry, then all of a sudden things get out of whack, and they get out of whack in a real bad way. Whether Dak's getting his foot stepped on, we've seen a couple reps in that in camp. Right, you change the center, all of a sudden he's getting stepped on. All of a sudden he can't get to the running back. Now he's trying to reach, and now you start fumbling the ball. Like, stuff just happens to just snowball when things are out of whack at that position. You have to have your center. So if you don't have Biotish, you are going with your plan B, and there is no plan C, D, and E. There just isn't.
I was having a conversation earlier this week with a friend of mine about that exchange, the center to quarterback exchange, and it is one of the most underrated logistical pieces of the entire game of football. Because look at it all the way across the board, and I'm interested to see your thought process on this. Think of the cohesion that is needed across the board in the game of football. You're talking about communication defensively, passing off at the offensive line spot, talking about timing between quarterbacks and wide receivers, all of these connections that you have to each other because it is the ultimate team game. So it's like a spider web. It's all connected together. But where would you rank out of all those connections how important and how imperative it is to be on the same page between quarterback and center?
Oh, I think it's of the utmost importance.
It would be probably 1 or 2 on the list,
people
right?
that touch the ball every play. 2 people on this roster touch the ball every single offensive snap. Your center and your quarterback.
Yeah.
Unless it's a direct snap to
a
a running back, okay? But for the most part, your center and your quarterback. So you talk about the fact that these guys run shotgun, okay? So snap and how fast the ball is coming out, right? The velocity, the timing of that from Dak saying, hey, I want the ball, to the time he snaps it, to the time the ball gets to his hands. Like, there's a timing element there, right? And if that's off a 1/10 or 2/10 of a second, that throws off Dak, right? Because he's already in his drop as the ball's coming. Like, there's a lot of things like that you're calibrated for. And if you just change that calibration a little bit, it throws things out of whack. I could go back to times when I was under center. If I'm used to coming from underneath center at a certain time, right? As I'm saying snap, HUD, whatever it is that he's saying, as I'm backing out, there's a timing element to that, right? I know how far I'm coming out with my hands as I'm coming from underneath his butt. So if you bring somebody else in and he's delayed even a little bit, right? Now all of a sudden I'm backing out and the ball hasn't been snapped. So now when the ball comes up, it's hitting my fingertips instead of hitting the base of my hand, right? So like little things like that, those little minute changes, you can't play around with those. It throws off absolutely everything.
When you think about it, too, from a backup quarterback standpoint, that's why these backup quarterbacks, Cooper
false
Rush,
starts and all this stuff.
Greer, it happens that way because the cadence is just slightly different from the center. That would be the starting center in this case.
Like things like that, right?
Here we go.
Yeah. And you're trying to mimic that same cadence as the starting quarterback, but it's never going to be the same. No. It never will be. It's really interesting. And keeping the conversation on the offensive line, I had a conversation with both Tyler Smith and Chuma Edoga yesterday in the locker room, and both guys said that if they're the starters up front, there's no Tyron Smith at the left tackle spot, it will look the same this week. It will be the same starting left side of that offensive line because Chuma Edoga has taken every snap this week that he's taken has been at left tackle, and every snap that Tyler Smith has taken this week has been at left guard. Do you feel comfortable with that setup and the way that it looked on Sunday?
I love the journalistic reporting, Kyle, because that's something that's been very interesting for me as well, but I don't necessarily believe it.
Yeah?
I don't necessarily.
You don't think so? You think it could be switched?
I think it definitely could be. I think it definitely could be. Just for the fact that Chuma Edoga looked really good in his guard opportunity against that was the Giants, and then obviously we've seen what Tyler Smith can do at left tackle. When you have a guy like Matthew Judon, who would you rather have going up against him? And I would say Tyler Smith.
The strength wise,
but
yeah, no doubt.
let's put it in the equation that was told to you: Chuma Edoga at left tackle and Tyler Smith at left guard. I wouldn't feel great about it. I wouldn't feel great about it just because, again, Judon, as you mentioned yesterday quite a bit, I don't think Chuma Edoga can handle him off the edge. I've always said on this show that I really like Edoga much more in the interior, and I think Tyler Smith has as much talent at tackle as he does at guard. Like, he's a true versatile offensive lineman that can play either to the same level and to the same effect. I'd rather have his strength and athleticism out there on the edge.
I look at it from this perspective. I think both points are valid. I truly believe that if Tyler Smith is at left tackle, Tyron Smith is done
for the year.
For the year,
I think that would be the indication that he's done.
Yeah.
Why?
Because why would you mess around with Tyler Smith bumping back out to tackle?
Because he's the better matchup.
For a matchup. Not you can't keep interchanging linemen and their responsibilities.
They really didn't like the fact that they did it last year.
They didn't like it last year.
Yeah.
So if you see, my opinion, if you see Tyler Smith at left tackle,
that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign for Tyron Smith.
Okay,
I can see that.
Okay. I see what you're saying then.
Because then now you forced him back. You forced Tyler Smith into his forever role. Mm-hmm. Last year he was fulfilling a gap. Right, I'm playing guard or I'm playing tackle when he's hurt.
But he's the left tackle of the future.
He's the left tackle of the future. Mm-hmm. So I think if you see him at left tackle this game, they're not going to keep doing this yo-yo thing with him again.
I just gave me
that's going to be your left tackle.
Now it's over here
for the foreseeable future.
You take a bathroom break.
Yeah,
and so you think about that, and you think about the look that Tyron Smith had on his face on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't good. He was still padded up. The one thing that I think, if you're looking at context clues like you're doing right now, which I really do appreciate, but you take it to what it is now, and you said he's nowhere to be seen. We haven't seen him on the practice field.
But he was in pads.
Seen him on the bands.
Last time you saw him, he was in pads.
But he hasn't been on the field. He hasn't been on the bands.
How do you go from pads to not being at practice all week?
That's the concern. That's where I have a concern.
I think that was more so they had to have 8 active offensive linemen. That's a requirement, and he was the one that had the best chance of playing on Sunday, probably just because his injury was fresher and had an opportunity. So that's why he was padded up. I'd fully believe that he was ruled out before the sun even rose on Sunday.
Okay.
If an injury would have happened up front, would Tyler Smith have gone in, or would Luke Schoonmaker have gone in at the tackle spot?
Oh my gosh,
Dorrance Armstrong.
Tyron, you mean?
It would have been Dorrance Armstrong at left tackle.
Yeah, Tyron is what I meant.
That's actually a really fun game. Who would have been? You would have thrown. Here's what you would have done. You would have thrown
Hunter Lipke at the left tackle spot.
I'm putting Dorrance out there. Give me the long arms, man.
You would have put Chuma Edoga.
Let's go.
Chuma Edoga at left tackle, Brock Hoffman at left guard, and Trent Sig at center. Let's see it happen.
Trent Sig, I like it. A little deep snapper love on Talkin Cowboys today. Plain and simple, it's not pretty on the offensive line right now, and they're going up against a really good front. In that same conversation with Chuma Edoga, I asked him, because he played with the Jets previously, and I said, did you ever have any battles with Matthew Judon? And he said, actually, he was never healthy when we played for some reason. He was like, I never got to go up against him. I played against the Patriots quite often, but never got a chance to see Judon.
No rough draft.
In the back of my head, I was like, oh, man.
No rough draft.
Oh, yeah. No, he's going straight into it. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
This is SAT or the ACT?
No studying. No study guide going in. All right. When we come back, we've got a new segment. This is going to be Nick's Picks. We've got the best look of matchups across the board. Some players to watch, matchups along the way. When we come back with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time. But what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Quaker Oats, a super trusted superfood. Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. It's also brought to you by the Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. Welcome back into the SWBC studios here at the Star in Frisco. Give us a call if you want to be in our Pick'em segment. We'll update the standings. We'll tell you if the fans still have the lead. You would get a chance to represent the fans this week. 888-855-2297. Mario from South Texas had the fans last week. 888-855-2297. Give us a call right now to be a part of our Pick'em segment. Isaiah Stanback, former Dallas Cowboys draft pick, Super Bowl champion with the Giants, and Bill Belichick quarterback product. What's going on?
Chilling, man.
Yeah?
Chilling.
You look...
It's game day. That last segment got me a little bubbly, so I'm drinking my tea.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're drinking your Black Rifle
You look
coffee.
like a WWE fighter today.
Oh, I almost was.
Really?
Yeah, he actually tried out.
Really? I didn't know this.
I turned it down.
There's video.
Right.
I did.
He also was on one of those like wipeout shows.
No.
Like
Okay, next topic.
Next
topic. Next topic.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, like where
So we're gonna have
you
to find
get-
the
where you
wipeout
get-
footage for sure.
Oh yeah, no.
Beam,
if you're
you
out
have a
there,
job.
These some really good posters in here. These are.
They're great, right?
Yeah,
no, they
awesome.
look good.
And they move. Did you know they have multiples?
You ever try out for Dancing with the Stars too?
No, I think I would kill that though.
No, you wouldn't.
What?
You don't have any moves. What are you talking about? There's no way.
Listen here. Listen here. I tell you.
The stars
what.
would be dancing.
You
with
like
you.
R. Kelly? That's it.
Hey, that boy's fire. Him and Michael Jackson.
Okay. All right, Nick.
Who's the best performer
Of all time?
of all time?
That's definitely Michael Jackson.
It's got to be Mike.
MJ.
Yeah, it's got to be Mike.
There's not even a conversation.
I mean, I would throw Elvis up there too, just because.
Who's
like,
the best concert?
that man was. I'm not gonna say that.
yeah, probably.
He's very old. Let me say that.
Oh, I know.
Who?
But like, you talk about the way that he transcended
Elvis.
the time period.
No, Elvis copied.
Yeah.
I mean,
he copied Michael Jackson.
What? What does your timeline look like? All right.
Agreed.
All right, Nick. We are starting this on Fridays. We always do our players to watch. We'll do that here in a couple seconds, and then, of course, to pick them in the third segment. But I want you to give me some matchups. These are not necessarily the number one star-studded matchups on the board, but certainly ones that could give a win to either team on Sunday between the Cowboys and the Patriots.
Well, so I do an article every Friday on DallasCowboys.com. So pop in, check your boy out.
What's the name of it?
It's just called Key Matchups. And it's literally the
There you
name of
go.
the segment here. Key Matchups.
Key like the emoji key?
It could be if you want it to be.
Key
and on the
matchups.
actual sites, it's like KEY. But
It's like the
you
guy
know.
from The Matrix with all the keys.
You know, I've never seen The Matrix. Isn't that crazy?
Stop
There's a
this.
lot of movies I
Just
haven't
go to
seen.
your segment,
I know.
sir.
It's
What the heck is
it's
happening
unfortunate. Anyway, first matchup that I am definitely going to be looking at on Sunday afternoon. Trent Brown, left tackle for the New England Patriots, has started the season off really strong. He is a former 7th-round draft pick, got a pay raise this offseason, and is looking to kind of extend his stay with New England, and has done a really good job of making his case for it so far. Really good job. Only allowed 1 pressure and 1 sack. He's going to be drawing the task of Micah Parsons. So trying to keep that 1 total pressure, 1 total sack on the board. That's going to be a difficult opportunity. I think Micah definitely has an opportunity to get back to the quarterback and extend his sack streak to 4 games. But also Trent Brown, he's been one of the better tackles in the league to start the season.
Yeah, I think when you look at some of the tackles that Dallas has faced, it's not really great. I mean, Mekhi Becton was not good. 77 for the Jets. He was not good in that matchup.
No, he was terrible.
The Cardinals' offensive line, not solid. And then we saw what happened to the Giants as a whole. And the Dallas defensive line dismantled the Giants' offensive line. Do you expect something similar in this matchup?
I don't think it'll be a dismantling.
Yeah.
I think each will have their wins. I think it's going to be a pretty solid matchup, but Micah has the upper hand here. It's the athleticism that he has around the edge. I think that's the big advantage that he has over Trent Brown. Trent Brown definitely has these long, extended arms, so that could make life difficult for Micah, but again, there's a little bit of a dog factor that's going to come in with this defense, and that starts with number 11.
Question for you. If you had to pick a side for Micah to rush from, which one are you choosing?
Where he's been coming off. Off the left, off the blind side. But if they're going up against Miami, I would love to see him come off the right side when Tua is a left-handed quarterback. I don't want the quarterback to see Micah Parsons coming because that's when you get the strip sacks involved. That's when you get these really athletic throwdowns and big sacks as far as yardage. I like him coming off the blind side.
What would you like?
Over the center.
Oh, you want him just straight up?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought you meant like which side.
No, I did.
Oh, he was.
But I just threw my curveball in there.
Okay. The answer was not there.
That one.
Yeah,
no, honestly, it's whichever is the lesser tackle.
Yeah.
So I know you're highlighting the matchup against Trent Brown, which obviously is going to be a good challenge for both, I believe. But I would, if you don't have to.
I think it's different though when you have DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side. You have that safety net on the other side. You don't really have to worry about it. And so I would like those guys to hone in.
Yeah.
Let's say DeMarcus Lawrence isn't on this team. Then maybe you throw that around.
Working on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, that's
like
a tease for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like whenever they've thrown him over center and given that look.
Yeah.
But typically when they show that look, Leighton Vander Esch is coming off the edge, and there has not been a lot of success there. And so if they can,
but you were so excited about that.
I really was. So much
was Dan Quinn.
Yes, so was Dan Quinn. I was very excited about that. And
Nick question.
Yeah.
A Kyle question.
Yeah, the Kyle question. Leighton has not.
Shout out, John.
I haven't loved the off the edge look so far this season. Maybe it works eventually, but I think they've thrown it out there 6 times, and all 6 times Leighton is just getting.
Yeah. He doesn't really possess the quick twitch necessary for that.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
But if it's paired with Micah having to come in at 0 tech, then I'm like, let's abandon this. But if we can keep Leighton in the second level, keep Damone Clark in the second level.
Why wouldn't you put Dorrance Armstrong out there?
Yeah, put Dorrance on
Dante Fowler.
Let him rush it too.
Exactly. Put
Or
those
Sam
guys
Williams.
off the edge and put Micah, 0 tech.
Yeah,
but
Dante Fowler
that
too.
opens up a really unfortunate opportunity for them to run the ball right down Micah's throat, and I do not love that. So I'm keeping him off the edge.
That kind of plays into my either-or question that I was about to ask too. Would you take 2 sacks from Micah Parsons again? Another multi-sack game, but Patriots rush for over 75 yards. Or would you flip it? No sacks for Micah Parsons, but the Patriots run for less than 75. I'm talking about pure aggression from Micah Parsons, setting the edge, stopping the run defense. I know they're not all directly tied together, but just as an either or, which one would you rather see on Sunday?
75 is not that many though. So I would take the 2 sacks and 75 yards just because that shows that you are stopping the pass game.
Okay, 100 yards.
Okay, then.
Okay, we'll tack on 25 more.
How many yards are the New England Patriots going to rush for? Let's ask that question.
I think they'll go triple digits.
You think so? Easy?
Like just 100?
Well,
are we doing like 150? Because that's different.
I'm doing 150.
Ooh. Oh my!
I don't think it's going to be that much. You have to think here. Through 3 games so far, Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke have combined for like roughly 250 through 3 games. So I don't.
I'll back that down. I'll go 127.
Yeah, I don't see them running for
0.3.
It's going to be close to 100. I think it's going to be close to the facility of their offense. The facilitation of their offense is going to be getting the pass game going.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen well. I don't think.
So I would rather have the 2 sacks. I'd rather have the 2 sacks. Yeah.
Even then, with 100 yards rushing,
Yeah.
you would rather have the 2 sacks in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, what's your second matchup?
Second matchup, we're staying at the left tackle and off the left edge position, just on when the other sides are on the field. Matthew Judon and Chuma Edoga. And, when I was coming into the show today, I had Matthew Judon versus Tyler Smith. But since Isaiah Stanback shot me down so fast and he convinced me otherwise, Matthew Judon versus Chuma Edoga. So Matthew Judon, through 3 games, you'll see him off the left side, you'll see him off the right side. Kind of goes back to our Micah conversation. You'll see him come off each side. He'll get snaps off both sides. It's about a 50-50 split. If there's any advantage of where he's coming off the most, it's off that left side. I think whenever he's matching up with Chuma Edoga, that's going to be the one to watch. I trust Terrence Steele to at least keep him at bay. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have his wins for sure, talking about Judon. But Edoga on the other side, I think they're really going to try to go after him with Judon.
Is part of why you asked the Micah Parsons question on which side you would rather him rush from come from Matthew Judon and the fact that he'll come from really any direction on that offensive line?
Judon is going to line up wherever you're weak.
Yeah. He's going to attack it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And you like that?
No, I don't like it this week.
This week, no.
This week, I do not like it.
I liked it last week, but not this week.
I don't like it this week.
Yeah, I do think it will be Chuma Edoga at left tackle. I think Tyler Smith will be at left guard, which, like you said, it's both a good thing. Because
we'll find out.
If it does end up going elsewhere, then I think you're going to see an extended period of time missed from 77. But if that's the case, that's going to be a matchup. Matchup to watch, no doubt about it. Key on whether or not the Cowboys will have some success, because you've got to find a way to slow those guys down, because they are, and it's not just Judon. They have multiple guys up front that are strong and long, and they've got the lankiness on that line of scrimmage to make it happen and make the plays happen.
I agree. Third matchup. Christian Gonzalez versus the Cowboys wide receivers. And I'm just putting the Cowboys wide receivers. I'm just putting the Cowboys wide receivers in a group here. We've had discussions this week, and I've had it on a couple of podcasts so far this week. Well, Christian Gonzalez.
I see you little sprinkle that little humble brag in there.
Christian Gonzalez.
Podcasts this week.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, he's done a couple.
You want to do the draft show too? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm here for it.
Christian Gonzalez versus the Cowboys wide receiver group. There's been conversations on these podcasts that I've done this week that will Christian Gonzalez shadow CeeDee Lamb? My answer is no. Because I really want Christian Gonzalez to be able to hone in on that boundary if I'm the Patriots defensive coordinator or Bill Belichick. I want him to be able to hone in on keeping the boundary firm. And with that being the case, CeeDee Lamb, he's going to operate in the slot quite a bit. Will he match up with CeeDee Lamb on Sunday? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's going to be the majority of the reps. I think it's going to be more so Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks drawing those assignments. And if those are the two guys, Christian Gonzalez has the edge on both of them with his size, his physicality off the edge, or on the boundary. I think that's a really difficult challenge for this receiver group. And if those two guys have to get going this week, there's no way to get around it. We've talked about no receiver touchdowns. That's played right into their red zone inefficiency as well, not being able to get the ball into the receiver's hands. And the only times that they have really tried to get a touchdown to receivers in the red zone, it's been jump balls and fade balls, and it's not been, it's been snap. So I don't love Christian Gonzalez if we're doing that again on Sunday afternoon.
Do you believe there's going to be more 12 personnel by Dallas or 11?
12.
I do as well.
Yeah, so 12. They're going to get those tight ends on the field and try to bring in the boundary as much as possible so that they can spread back out.
You're not going to see CeeDee as much in the slot as you imagine.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that they're going to have 12 on the majority of their snaps.
That's what I'm talking about.
But more than the rest of the personnel groupings.
Yeah.
Or are you just saying more than last?
I asked that because how secure do you, how confident are you in this offensive line without the additional help and support of additional tight ends?
Yeah, not that.
Because if you go 11 personnel, you have one tight end sitting there, so now you're blocking 6.
It depends on who you have back. If you have Biotish and Tyler Smith back, then I'm okay. Yeah. I'm cool with just like figuring out if Chuma can get it done, and if he can't, then I throw a tight end on his side every time. But the way the offensive line performed last week with 3 guys out, I would feel confident if 2 of them are coming back. And Chuma Udoga, we'll see what he can do at left tackle, and I'd operate in that sense. And I would let CD try to operate the best he can. I mean, we talked about it this week. Bill Belichick, his entire game plan is taking out your best weapon. And after what happened with CD Lamb last time that they played, CD Lamb's going to be the guy that they go after. I'm fully confident in that. So however they scheme up doing that, I think there's going to be a lot of guys kind of drifting behind him, even behind his matchup. And I don't think it's going to be Christian Gonzalez. I think they're going to put two completely different guys on him at all times.
Well, and think about the guys. I mean, this is really impressive from the Colony prospect in Christian Gonzalez. Look at the guys that he's faced so far. Philadelphia, so A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Miami, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Waddle was healthy in that game. He was the leading receiver for the Dolphins. And then you had the New York Jets, and he faced Garrett Wilson. So he's seen some of the better receivers in the NFL. Has he seen that next level veteran? Probably it would be Tyreek and A.J. Brown.
I was about to say,
two guys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying because there's a lot of youth with Waddle. There's a lot of youth with Garrett Wilson. They're all still really good receivers.
He's faced some dogs.
I'm interested to see what Brandon Cooks does against them, though. Brandon Cooks is a more experienced receiver than those guys are. I'm not saying he's a better receiver than those guys are.
Using him the way that he could be utilized.
But could that change this week?
It could, but
I think it will change this week.
I think it needs to change, but understand what goes hand in hand with that. And I don't want to get too far off track of my guy Nick's segment. But
that was the last matchup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, in order to push the ball down the field, you have to be able to do what?
Run it.
No, you got to be able to that too, but you have to be able to protect.
Oh, sure.
Right? And
And that's big. I'm trying not to think about the offensive line.
but you have to, right? Because the reason why Brandon Cooks has not been involved, and we'll hit this in a pregame live show on Sunday, 2 o'clock. Okay,
there you go.
There you go. DallasCowboys.com. Yep.
You have the other shows, huh?
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Okay. Nick? The reason why they have not pushed the ball down the field to Brandon Cooks is because the times that they have, it's either been an inaccurate pass or he's been pressured. There has not been time to push the ball down the field. I'm just going back on film. I can go back to every pass. I went back. Actually, I have gone back this week and looked at all 11 attempts that have been thrown Brandon Cooks' way through the first 3 games. Only 11. 11 attempts.
Wild.
4 have been caught.
Yep, that's it.
3 of those 4 were at 5 yards.
Yeah, you got to get him going downfield.
The times that they have tried to go downfield, sack. Or inaccurate pass because of pressure. They're not protecting as well as everybody's thinking. They're just getting the ball out fast.
There have been opportunities, not necessarily for Brandon Cooks, but for CeeDee Lamb downfield where he has been open. There was a play in the Arizona game. I don't really remember when in the game it was. CeeDee was wide open downfield. Dak just didn't trust to get it down there just because of the pressure that was going on around him.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that's a concern of mine.
There's been opportunities.
That's a concern of mine. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's opportunities, but there's not opportunities because you don't have time to actually deliver them.
Really quick, through 3 games, Christian Gonzalez has been targeted 22 times. He's allowed 15 receptions for 148 yards through 3 games. So there's going to be opportunities. 0 touchdowns. He has 1 interception and 2 pass breakups. The longest reception that he has allowed has been 23 yards, and that was against the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Moving forward, there's some of the matchups that Nick has his eyes on. You can catch his article. DallasCowboys.com. When does that get posted? That get posted today?
Whenever I feel like it. No, I'm playing.
Whenever you want to.
Like 1 or 2, give or take.
Can I give you a little bit more bubble guts?
No.
There's one name that I haven't brought up all week. I know. There's one name that I get these feelings sometimes, right?
Me too.
And Kyle can't stand it when I get these feelings because I mention them when we're watching the game, and I'm like, hey,
it happens.
I have a feeling. I know we've been talking a lot about the tight end group, okay, of the New England Patriots, Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. There is another one. There's another good name that worries me more so than the other 2 in this particular game. Not more so than Hunter, but like Hunter would be the more consistent guy. I think their big play guy that you have to have circled on your sheet is Farrell Brown.
Interesting.
He's lightning in a bottle for them. 6'6", 245, and he has, I think, 2 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown. He's their big play tight end. He's their big play tight end. He has some juice to him.
He's their Peyton Hendershot.
He's their Peyton Hendershot, but bigger.
Yeah, well, 6'6".
Yeah, he's
Peyton bigger shot.
But I'm saying like he's the sleepy. He's the guy that you sleep on, He's a guy that you sleep on, and he doesn't have a lot of catches, a lot of receptions, but when he does, it's a big play.
Okay.
He might have 2 catches, he might have 1 catch, but that 1 catch is going to be a big play, and it'll catch you off guard because you get so honed in on Hunter Henry. You get so honed in on Juju and everybody else that we haven't even talked about the receivers, Juju and those guys.
Nope.
And Kendrick, Kendrick Bourne. Those guys are good now. They're good. They have Devontae Parker. They have some speed out there. They just don't utilize it as much, at least to date. But those guys allow for the middle of the field to open up because they have so much speed on the outside as well. We've seen what speed did last week.
Yeah.
Right? And they didn't even use Zach Ertz in the middle. These guys have three guys that can go in the middle of the field. Just saying. Sorry.
Why do you got to do that right before our Pick'em segment,
Well,
Isaiah?
J-Ron Curse was just talking about how he's ready. I'm angry.
He's angry.
I'm angry.
They're going to have to show it.
You better show it.
They're going to have to show it.
You got 3 guys to worry about. There's not one.
This is a crucial game. Very
Let's
crucial.
talk about it, Kyle.
Let's talk about it. 888-855-2297. Give us a call. It's our Pick'em segment. Coming up next, your chance to represent the fans who were once leading the Talkin Cowboys Pick'ems, but we have a new leader in the clubhouse. We'll tell you who it is when we come back right after this.
He's too excited.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Back here inside the SWBC studios at the Star in Frisco with Nick Harris, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back, and we have some updates to be had here on this show. Pick'em segment, of course, every week we pick 5 regular season games and then the Cowboys game every single time. And we went into last week with the fans leading the way. Abe in Las Vegas set the tone. Mario in South Texas took over, and the fans are no longer leading in the clubhouse. So we'll see what they have this week. They're 1 game back, but I'll start at the bottom. Nick Harris, 7-11 to start the season. He went 3-3 last week. Sorry, Nick.
Started at the bottom. Okay.
That's okay. We got a long way to go. It's okay. He's the only one that's under 500 at the moment. John is at
Anything
an
else?
even. John is at an even 500. John Machota 9-9 overall. He went 2-4 last week. Not the best week for John Machota. Then in second place, or technically third place, the fans at 11-7. They went 3-3 with Mario in South Texas.
He was too excited. I knew he was too excited.
Tied for first.
Look at
Isaiah Stanback goes 5-1 last week. The only loss he had was the Dallas Cowboys. That was it. That was the only one.
Loyalty.
Yep, loyalty to the Cowboys, loyalty for the brand. Isaiah is 12-6. I also went 5-1 last week because we're brothers. We're always on the same page, you know. 5-1 last week, and I am also at 12-6. So me and Isaiah have the identically same, all the way even across the board record.
That's back to back.
And then the fans are right back below us. So here we go. Back, baby. Let's see what we can do this time around.
Come back,
we
baby.
have Mike in New York on the line. Mike's what's going on?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, you have always been one of our most energetic callers. I expect plenty more of that in this week's Pick'em segment, okay?
Yep.
All right, there you go. That's the answer we wanted, Mike.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. All right, let's start things off. This one is going to be an absolute barn burner. Noon kickoff on Sunday. Dolphins at the Bills.
Ooh.
Divisional AFC East matchup.
Coming out hot, huh, Kyle?
Yeah, coming out hot. Mike, who you got in this one?
I got Buffalo.
Ooh, the Bills
Bison,
on top.
huh?
Okay.
Bison.
What you got, Isaiah?
Bills.
Hey, that was better.
That was good.
That was better. Thank you.
That was
Taking
good.
the Fins. What you got?
I am going to take the Bills here.
Stay behind, are you?
See, I was originally going to take the Bills here.
Go ahead. I need a game. Go ahead.
Oh, to flip it?
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
said that
Take the
last
Dolphins.
week, and you were the one that got it wrong.
All right. Well, you know,
you do need
it's a new
game.
week.
I'm gonna take Buffalo here too. I'm gonna take the Bills at home. I just think that's too good of a team.
I like it. I like it.
Complete. And I said it earlier this week. I think the Dolphins are good. I just don't know if they're there yet. How about this as the complete opposite of two teams that we just talked about, Dolphins and Bills as Super Bowl contenders?
I already know where you're going.
The Broncos and the Bears. This is the worst matchup of the season so far. I cannot wait to watch this one as well, just for different reasons. Nick, who you got?
Oh, man. There's so much turmoil with both of these teams right now. I am going to... I'm going to lean on the team that I feel like has a little bit more talent, and I'm going to take the Bears. They're at home. I just feel not good at all saying that. But go Bears.
The Bears. I'm going to take Chicago as well. Oh, gosh. You're right. That doesn't feel
sound
good.
It doesn't sound right.
Isaiah?
I want to go with the Bears.
Do you want to pick a tie?
I think that Sean Payton will suit up before he goes 0-4. So I'll have to go with Sean Payton on this one.
That's a good point. I might flip mine.
Nope, too late, Kyle.
Can't
Already
flip it?
on record.
Okay. All right. Dub Bears. All right, Mike, who you got?
I got Denver. I don't see Sean Payne going 0-4. He's 0-3, but I'll take Denver.
Yep. Love it. All right. Ravens at the Browns. Baltimore at Cleveland. 2-2-1 teams.
Yeah.
I think on paper the Ravens are probably the better team, but they are on the road. And the Browns offense has been clicking even without Nick Chubb. I expect them to keep that going. Give me the Browns at home. Amari Cooper is going to have 2 touchdowns, not only because he's on my fantasy team, because the Browns need it. 2 touchdowns from AC.
I'm going with the Keebler Elves.
Wow, the Browns.
I'm going with the Ravens here.
Ravens?
Yep.
Mike?
Baltimore. I think whoever wins will win by like 3 points. But I think Baltimore. I mean, it's a tough matchup because it's a divisional game. But I think I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Cleveland's
Mike. I appreciate that one.
Cleveland's defense is disgusting.
They're good. The pass rush is nuts.
Nasty.
Buccaneers at the Saints. Nick, who you got?
At the Saints. The Saints, they're going to have to be juggling around at quarterback, having to play with the fact that Derek Carr might not be playing. But they get Alvin Kamara back, so running game might be a little bit more established. But I feel like there's too much going on there. I like the way the Buccaneers have started the season. I think they get the edge in the NFC South.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Bucs too. Give me the fighting Baker Mayfields to get the job done.
I'm eating a dub.
Jabu?
I'm going with James Winston. Let's go.
He played with both of those franchises.
I know, but James Winston plays for the Saints right now.
There's your immaculate
You're
great
giving him
answer
a
of the
week.
day.
You're giving him a week as the leader of this team. I think he takes over this team and has a good game.
Mike.
I'll go with the Saints just because I feel like they're obviously at home, hard to play in New Orleans, and I don't know. Tampa Bay's okay, but I think the Saints are a little better.
There you go. Commanders at the Eagles.
Ooh.
NFC East matchup. Can Washington help out Dallas just a little bit by knocking off the Eagles for the first time? Mike, who you got?
No, Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I don't want them to win, but I think Philadelphia is a little better team. Their defensive line is tough, and Washington's offensive line it's not that good. So Philadelphia.
What do you think, Isaiah?
I agree with my man. Let's go with it.
I don't like it either. I am going to pick the green team.
Yeah, I got to go with the green.
I'm not going to say the unfamous 3 words that I said last week. But
did you get some mentions from that?
I did. There was a little bit of a hate there. I should not have said that. Philadelphia with the win, with the very unfortunate win.
Yeah. You live and you learn.
Had to
That's
hammer
okay.
it home here.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, I think Philly gets the win in that one. All right. Patriots at the Cowboys. It's a homecoming for Ezekiel Elliott at AT&T Stadium. Big 2-1 now returns as a big 1-5 behind that Patriots offensive line, and he comes with a defense just as prevalent as what the Cowboys have had as well at times on that defensive side of the football. Very good Patriots defense, but can their offense get going against the Dallas Cowboys? We'll go with Mike first. Who you got?
Cowboys 27-17.
27-17. Mike, appreciate the energy as always. I mean, you absolutely bring it every single time. Have fun up there in New York. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thank you.
There Thank he goes. Mike in New York. All right, who wants to start us off? I'm going to let Isaiah go last. I'll go ahead and start it. I think the Cowboys rebound. I think they slow down the run. I think they show maybe not a complete flip-flop from last week. I think there are still going to be some problems. I think they give up less than 75 yards on the ground. I think they do force at least one takeaway, and this is a tight, ugly, low-scoring football game. Give me the Cowboys 18-13 in a weird one.
That would be their first win scoring under 20 points in their last 21 contests.
And I think it'll happen. It's about time. It just means they're due.
Would love to see that. This is going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to be a very cerebral matchup with Bill Belichick at head coach. I think the Cowboys will struggle out of the gate, and I think they will find their stride and pull away with a 2-possession victory.
There you go. Isaiah, who you got?
I believe that I can fly. But also I believe...
Speaking of...
I know, Ira. I believe that the Dallas Cowboys will force Mac Jones into 2 interceptions or 2 turnovers. Mm-hmm. The offensive line does not make me feel good, Kyle.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
That's my drum roll.
I see New England winning.
Oh no! 2-2 going to San Fran.
My stomach's knotted, but it's. I see it 21-17, even with the turnovers.
Wow. This is the first time anybody's picked against the Cowboys this year, which I had a feeling it would probably happen this week, especially after Arizona.
It has nothing to do with Arizona. It has nothing to do with Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything to do with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything to do with the offensive line and the style of offense that Dallas has been running and what they need to do against this defense. I'm not sure they'll have the ability to do it.
Really quick, we have John's picks: Dolphins, Broncos, Browns, Saints, Eagles, Cowboys.
Boom. There you go. He picked the Cowboys as well. So Isaiah's on the island there.
Island boy.
My stomach's knotted. I don't like it.
It's the.
I'm just going off of the film. You know how much film I watch. I'm just off the film.
You are watching the film.
I'm just off the film, man.
If anybody's going to pick against the Cowboys and get it right, it's probably going to be Isaiah.
Yeah,
so
I hope I'm not right,
unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. That does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Hope you had as much fun as we did previewing this matchup throughout the week. We will be back Monday morning, film and all, to break it down, 9 a.m. Central Time. Win or lose for the Cowboys, we will be right back here inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios with our Black Rifle Coffee. All right, for Chris Beam in the back, Isaiah Stanback, John Machota all week, Nick Harris, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from the Star in Frisco. We'll see you on Monday. Enjoy the game, everybody. Go Cowboys!
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.